Hello and welcome to Xena, Warrior Podcast Minisodes. My name is Vera, and I'm joined, as always, by my two gives no fucks co-hosts.
That's not a one-word adjective.
Katie.
Hello.
And Livy.
Hello.
Other ones I thought about for today was intrepid.
Oh, I like that.
Unique. Awesome. Cool. But I thought gives no fucks.
Maverick.
Maverick, yeah. But I thought gives no fucks was like kind of the summation of it.
All right. Gives no fucks. Like with like little like hyphens.
We can have hyphens in
So it
there.
can be one word.
Right. Let's be proper about this. I'm pretty sure I've had not one word before, but
That's probably
all right.
true.
In 2020.
I didn't know it was a rule. That there
It's a
couldn't
rule
be
now.
More than one word. Just learning new rules today.
You're today years old when you learn it has to be one word. Well, if you couldn't tell by that amazing intro, we are discussing Gentleman Jack today because we had two patrons ask for it.
Yes. Today's minisode is for Sarah, who requested Gentleman Jack. That
Two
is
exclamation points.
with two exclamation points. Yes. We also want to note that another patron, Lisa, also requested it. In a previous week, we did her second choice, which was Modern AUs. So, Lisa, here's another one for you.
Popular.
Gentleman Jack. Now,
I wonder why
yeah.
it's so popular.
It's good. That's why. Well, Gentleman Jack was a show on HBO. I mean, it
Remains
still
a
is.
show.
It still is a show on HBO. That's where you can find it. Or if you live in Britain, you can watch it on ye old BBC.
Yeah, it's a
Co-production.
Co-pro.
as they say.
It is a wonderful show written by Sally Wainwright. She's a cool lady, creator of other popular streaming things like Happy Valley on Netflix.
Which I haven't seen.
I have not also seen this.
But a lot of people are obsessed with it.
Mm-hmm.
Last Tango in Halifax, also on Netflix.
Halifax, note.
Yeah.
There is something that unites all of Sally Wainwright's shows. Let's see if you can guess it.
It's the fact that she's from the top, the north.
Maybe.
My personal recommendation for her past work is Scott and Bailey.
Okay.
That is on Amazon Prime.
Tell us about Scott and Bailey.
Well, if you like Rizzoli and Isles, but want it British and without one of them being a medical examiner, both cops.
Oh, two cops.
And also if you like Gentleman Jack and like Saran Jones, and also Amelia Bullmore, I strongly suggest Scott and Bailey, where Saran Jones plays, let's say, a bit of a mess DC Rachel Bailey. And Leslie Sharp plays a more put-together DC Janet Scott.
That was on for a little bit, right? There's a few seasons of that?
It was like 4 seasons.
Yeah.
It is really great. And honestly, the relationship between Saran Jones' character and their boss, DCI Jill Murray, that's played by Amelia Bullmore,
Okay.
is fantastic. It's honestly like a Captain Janeway.
Ooh.
And if like
Tell me more.
maybe if like Tom Paris was like a lady.
Okay.
Trying to
Okay, so that's
like
Bailey's
that.
deal. She's like
she's like a hot mess. Hot mess cop.
but like arrogant about it.
She's not really arrogant, she's more drunk.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
right.
so it's better.
All right.
Highly recommend. Really good
so
time.
So Sally Wainwright, she has a lot of shows. I feel like I didn't realize that. That was
Yeah.
cool information for me, who did not know. She did all of those shows.
And they're all set.
Actually.
They're all set in the north. Lots
They're
of,
all
You're
set in
obsessed with
Yorkshire
that.
Yeah,
specifically,
yeah. Why
which
are you
is
so
where she's
obsessed?
from.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, the deal with Sally Wainwright is that she had been wanting to make a show about Ann Lister for like 20 years, in part because she comes from Halifax, same as Anne, and has always felt a kinship with her. So I like that this is really a passion project that she's finally gotten to make after years of working in the industry and building a name for herself.
For real, and I feel like this is like one of the strongest, I guess, showings of it. Specifically because it is a co-production with HBO,
There's
where it gave it a certain
lot of
acclaim.
production value.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're interested in Ann Lister, the BBC has previously done a miniseries about it.
Yeah,
about
starring
her.
Maxine Peake,
Right.
who is an actress that Vera hates because her face is too pointy.
There's a peak on her face.
If you don't have a problem with pointy faces, you may enjoy The Secret Diaries of Anne Lister, I believe. Is the name of
Yes, this is from 2010. Let me go on a tiny little tangent about Maxine Peake.
Okay.
She just was like in everything at a certain point in the mid 2010s or something,
And you
late 2000s.
We're mad about it.
She just was like everywhere.
Okay.
But
her pointy face.
What?
Fine.
She's
Pointy
very
face
talented,
everywhere.
as I recall.
Yeah, she is. And I will actually say that nowadays she's quite awesome on a little Hulu show called The Bisexual, made by Desiree Akhavan, who's one of my favorite directors and writers. And I suggest you all watch it.
Wait, who?
Desiree Akhavan, she made The Miseducation of Cameron Post.
Oh, that movie.
Yeah,
That was a good movie.
it's great.
So I did not realize that she finally settled your feud with
listen.
poor Maxine Peake.
Do I tune into that show for Maxine Peake? No. She's just there and she's
has gone
doing a
off
good
On a
job.
real tangent.
Yeah, we
Real
should like
rails.
rein it in about Maxine Peake. Guess what? Maxine, if you're listening, I apologize.
Sure she is. You're sure she is.
Saran Jones, I feel like we should pivot and discuss.
We really should.
Well,
yes.
what is Gentleman Jack?
Okay, we can also pivot to talk about
for
that.
people who may be listening who don't know what
I
we're
literally,
talking
in my
about.
notes, I literally have one called "What is
Okay.
Gentleman Jack?"
I think that should be before
Saran.
launching into Saran.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, according to the IMDb description, I thought it was short and sweet. Check this out. Gentleman Jack is a dramatization of the life of LGBTQ plus trailblazer, voracious learner, and cryptic diarist Anne Lister,
It's true.
who returns to Halifax, West Yorkshire in 1832, determined to transform the fate of her fated ancestral home, Shibden Hall. Pretty good summation.
Pretty good summation. So yeah, it takes place in the 1830s. It
Yup.
is a period drama. There are lewks.
Oh, there are lewks,
Yes,
and
of
they are
course.
unfortunate.
They are unfortunate.
Some of them are
So,
fortunate.
We'll get
Some
to
of
the
them are
lewks,
fortunate.
I think, a
well,
little bit later.
friend of the pod, Nora, who comes up with the one word onlys,
Not all the time, but okay.
wouldn't be upset if we didn't mention that this is one of the worst periods in history for women's fashion.
Height
One
of the
worst.
romantic periods,
Absolute
quote unquote.
disaster area.
It
It's
is
atrocious.
horrific.
Oh, it's bad.
And it sucks that the show is true to it. Let's just say.
Yes.
Yeah, the
So
show is very
good on Anne Lister for not.
For not
Doing
not
that.
going there.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we would all hope that we would opt out of that fashion.
Yeah, it's interesting from the little pictures of the Secret Diaries of Miss Anne Lister, the Maxine Peake miniseries. She does not seem to have as much curly doos in her hair and
Oh, the curly
whatnots.
Okay.
So maybe they sort of toned down
Toned
on
it
the
down.
costumes for everyone in that little miniseries.
Does Maxine also wear the black pants outfit?
She better. That's what
yeah.
Anne Lister wore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just her
Well,
outfit.
I know the top hat is
Right.
not accurate.
And it's
Oh,
great.
well, that's
Yeah.
a great addition.
Yeah.
I think there is an explanation for. Well, you just jumped into the lukes, man.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm just
Looks
like
are
messing
important.
everything
If
up.
people haven't seen it, they need to visualize first. We need
Yeah.
to set the scene,
Right.
and stuff.
Well, important things to note is that the show was originally going to be called Shibden Hall, right? And then they changed it to Gentleman Jack, which I think is great because it kind of focuses it specifically on Anne Lister.
and makes you think of whiskey.
It-
So
it does.
it's win-win.
But it actually weirdly makes me think of the Johnny Walker Lady Walker whiskey, not actual Gentleman
Yeah,
Jack.
that makes sense.
Because she's like straight up. First of all, that was like a big joke when they put like
Yeah, that's not actually Gentleman Jack whiskey,
No,
no.
but also it was like, oh, this whiskey's for women now.
that is
It's
weird.
like when
There's
they
a
made
lady on it.
it's like when they made the Bic pens pink
pink.
for ladies.
Oh, yeah.
Like because finally women can write
That's
with
so
a pen.
Stupid.
But yeah, the lady character on that Johnny Walker really looks like she's wearing the outfit that
From Gentleman Jack.
outfit. But the point being that retitling the show and refocusing it, like, with that title specifically on Ann Lister and giving her this iconic look.
Yeah. It really is.
So
Really.
why did they add the top hat? Just because it's so good?
Yeah, because it's so good.
Sweet.
But also because, menswear at the time, they would be wearing
Yeah,
a top
top
hat
hats, yeah.
and stuff like that. And the cane, also a male.
Yeah, I think they just took it even further.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in the show, her look is based on this famous portrait painting called Ann Lister of Shibden Hall by Joshua Horner, where if you just Google it, it'll come up.
I will.
So it's the black coat, the collar, floofy collar situation. And then you can notice in that she has a lot more curly dews in her hair than just the two. But since she wears the top hat, it's totally understandable. She just plops it on and they rest on her two
little curly
dews.
Yeah, she could not fit anymore under that top hat.
No.
It's for the best.
Oh, I see it.
So yeah, they chose a masculine top sort of look for her, and then because she keeps the skirt,
Right.
so it's a feminine bottom. It's like a mullet of an outfit.
Okay.
Business end on
Well, I
front.
appreciate all the black because that's all I wear anyway. And in the times, as we were saying, everybody's wearing this pastel monstrosities. It actually made Ann Lister really stand out.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
Very mysterious, and everybody was like, "Whoa,
Who dat?
who's this?"
Yeah, and then if you go to conventions now and you suddenly see a top hat and you're like, oh my god, it's the Babadook. And then you see the skirt and you're like, oh no, it's just Ann Lister.
That's good. I like that that makes sense. That it could be one or the other.
Two clear
Two clear
icons.
icons. But which is it?
Which is it? So let's rewind and discuss our cryptic diarist Ann Lister, the star of
Diaries
Gentleman
are wild.
Jack. Yes, they are. What's up with that?
Well, a lot. We'll talk about it.
Well, she is quite a trailblazer in the sense that she was an unmarried lady and she owned land. And that was whoa. Like I said, no fucks given.
She basically talked her way into medical training in Paris, which
That's
again,
really cool.
not a thing a woman would be able to do.
Right.
But
Yeah.
she had money and swagger,
Yeah.
and she used them to create more money
And more swagger.
and presumably more swagger.
Well, according to the show, there was a lot of coal mining.
Yeah,
happening.
the show is 40% gay love, and then 40% coal business, and then 20% other people doing things.
Right, that sounds about right.
That's correct.
Would you call Ann Lister a problematic figure in any way?
I'm reaching for a
You're
coin.
Yeah.
It depends what you consider problematic. She wasn't a liberal in the modern sense at all. Despite obviously being this awesome queer lady, she gave no shits about anyone else but her. She was very much kind of
like a man would be at
but
the time.
a very specific rich man.
Yes. Yeah.
Capitalist.
Well, that's the thing about the show too, is that when you think about it, and if you love all of the show, that's good for you and great, because they are making it and they have other characters in it.
It's
But-
kind of a holdover from when the show was called Shibden Hall. You
yeah.
feel like maybe Sally Wainwright's original vision was actually Anne as one of an ensemble.
Right.
And somewhere along the way they looked at it and they were like, you know what? This really just needs to be about Anne.
Yeah, because when you think about, well, at least when I think about the show, I'm only focused on Anne stuff, and then you remember that there's also plots with the people who live on her land, and it's kind of
That's part of her
So you're
being a
saying
big
that
old
you,
capitalist.
like Anne, don't give a shit about the poor tenant farmers.
This is
and
what
his
I would say.
flesh-eating pigs. No. However, it's consistent because when I watch Downton Abbey, you only care about you do care about the downstairs, but you don't care about the people who live on their land.
That's true. They always felt a little wait, you're important now?
Well, because it's like you only care about like the house,
yeah.
which does include the downstairs.
I agree. You don't want to get too far from where the action is.
Yeah.
I definitely like if I could like flag one plot to go, it's definitely guy fed his dad to pigs plot. I just like that actually takes up a lot of real estate in the show, and you're just like, wait, we're still following this?
I know. And it's gonna be in season 2.
Like, it ended on like a cliffhanger, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah. I only care about Anne and her coal pit that she needs to sink or whatever for the coal to be there, and that she gets more money from it because I want her to be fucking rich and stick it to the guy with the cute dog.
Yeah. And of course, one of the kind of intriguing things about the show is that the coal plot informs the romance plot. At first, Anne's whole agenda is, I need to marry someone with money that I can sink into my coal pit.
It's kind of amazing. When you really do kind of like look at the romance, which is between, okay, guys, this is the time of all the Annes. Everyone's named Anne. So Anne Lister, Anne with an E, that show on Netflix is really about Anne Lister, Anne with an E. And also Anne, no E, Walker, right? That's who she wants to get the money from.
What's the portmanteau for the OTP?
I actually don't know.
Just Anne.
Anne squared.
Anne squared.
I don't know. Anne. That's so funny.
Yeah, and there's also Sir Anne, just to give you a little bit of a twist on that.
Two of the actresses are named Gemma.
That's true. The Gemmas, who are both excellent.
And also Gemma Jones, who plays Anne Lister, also another Anne.
Right.
Same name, literally. Yeah. She played that same character in the Maxine Peake 2010 version.
Really?
Oh, how funny is that? And
she
cute.
was so good at it that they gave her the part.
And she liked it. That's how much she was cool with it.
She really, I feel like that's actually one of the highlights of the show is Anne's aunt, who is their relationship.
So good.
So
cute.
moving.
I love them. But yeah, you were talking about the relationship between Anne and how it literally does start with her just being like, whoa, I gotta like get a lady, hook her, and get that money, get that cash.
Yeah. Obviously for Anne, it clearly is she, like any rich gentleman, she has decided she's done with, like, love affairs that break her heart. She wants to settle down and find something secure. And, of course, at this time period, what that really means is to find some money.
Yeah. It makes sense, yeah.
She wants love and she wants money. She wants it all.
But it's just so fascinating how at first she's like, yeah, this is going to be good for me. And then like later she's like, oh shit, I have feelings. I got the feels.
She caught a case of the feels. I mean, I love that whole arc. I love that in general. That's definitely maybe like a narrative kink of mine where I will say that like my original like response to Anne Lister when you meet her, like I obviously was super charmed by it because like, it's such a charismatic performance. But I was kind of turned off a little bit by the way she approaches Anne Walker because it's so manipulative. Yeah. Like it's very much like she's just like, how can I force this woman into my web?
Well, what makes it even worse is that Anne Walker has some mental illness featured in the show.
Right. Yeah. So she's just in this very vulnerable place. Yeah. She's so isolated in her house. So Anne kind of walks in. Anne Lister walks in almost like as an escape for her, which, in the end becomes really romantic. But at first it feels like, oh no. Like,
you're just taking advantage of a mentally ill girl. That's crazy.
Yeah, I feel like, and I think the show is very in touch with that. Like, you're kind of being made complicit in Anne Lister's schemes because she turns and talks to the camera and kind of invites you into her world. And of course those moments when she talks to the camera are meant to evoke the diaries that Anne Lister kept. Like this is like, you're hearing her voice talking about her interior life and also her plans for the future.
Yeah, I mean, she was like real straightforward. Besides all the the cryptic ways in which she wrote it, but she
might be
without the code, it was really straightforward in the diaries.
Very explicit.
Once you know.
stuff. Well, what the diaries are, we should talk about them, like, because I felt like I looked up fun facts about them. You can ongoing online contribute to trying to
decode them?
Continue to
Whoa.
decode them.
That's
This
awesome.
is amazing.
6,600 pages and over 2 million words that she started in school at 15, sort of with their first encounter. I forget her name. Another girl at the school.
Yeah, the girl she lived in the attic with.
Et cetera.
Oh my.
That definitely sounded fun.
That it's written in, where is it? I wrote it down, but now it's gone. It's a mix of algebra, zodiac, punctuation, and ancient Greek. Maybe that's how it started and then it changed. I don't know.
Oh my god.
And also she had really bad handwriting.
Oh, well, that does not help.
Definitely
anything.
doesn't help.
Yeah.
Did the Zodiac Killer steal the cryptography from Ann Lister? Or is she the Zodiac
So probably not.
With a time machine, maybe. I was also reading fun facts about the diary. My favorite kind of like subplot about the diary is just about the woman who discovered it. And,
Helen
first
Whitbread?
Yeah, she seems like a fascinating lady, like on her own. Like she like went to university at like 40 years old, and like when I think maybe around 51, she wanted like a postgraduate research topic.
Wow.
She lives in Yorkshire and just kind of went to her local library being like, oh yeah, was like a woman who owned Shipton Hall. I want to know more about that. Like asked the librarian like to see her letters and like got one and saw the terrible handwriting. And not only that, but the letter was written, it's kind of hard to describe, but like in order to save space, and did lines on a page, wrote the letter, and then did like a graph, did more lines on the same page, and like filled it going the other way.
Literally how I would do my Xena notes you're telling me?
Basically like
Holy
that.
shit.
So it was like 2 pieces of written text layered on top of each other, and it's just illegible.
Wow. Same with my Xena notes.
So Helen was just like, okay, never mind, I can't read this. And the librarian was like, oh, we also have her journals, but
wow.
that,
They were just in her...
maybe you'll do better with that, but they're also impossible to read in places.
Oh my god.
And the rest is literally history.
I don't...
Also, this happened in the 80s. Like, it's crazy how
in 1982.
Recently this
the fact
figure
that she
became known to us.
She found this in...
I mean, no, it's not that crazy. But
Wait, she found this in the library. That's where I'm a little bit like, whoa, because when you sort of like learn that the last person who like actually held the diaries was Ann Lister's like whatever descendant in the late 1800s, John Lister. And, he found the diaries, he decoded them and was like, huh?
Oh, no!
Well, some of them. And then he was told to burn them because they were so scandalizing, like, for, the family. He didn't do that. He hid them away. And then the house became, Shipton Hall itself became, like, open to the public in the 30s, I want to say, after his death. So then I guess somebody took him and gave him to the library.
Yeah, donated them as,
That's crazy that they just
artifact.
Like ended up.
But no one really understood
local...
what their import was, other than they're attached to this interesting woman.
See, this is why hoarding is good.
Sometimes hoarding is great. The other fact I saw about John Lister is that he himself was gay. And that was part of his hesitation, I think, not to burn it, but also not wanting it to become public knowledge. Very interesting family.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the story of how how Gentleman Jack got made is in itself really, really interesting. This piece of history that has been salvaged by the work of some awesome women.
I know. Well, what are our favorite parts of Gentleman Jack besides Saran as Anne?
I mean,
that is the best part.
That is the best part.
I mean, the relationship between Anne and Anne is by far the best part of the show. Like, they have such great chemistry. Her and Sophie Rundle, who's very, very, very amazing as well, who we have not mentioned yet.
That's true. Other Anne.
Yeah, they just have such good chemistry. I don't know. It's so good.
Yeah. And yeah, I think the fact that, like I was saying, like, that you go from this story of, you know, kind of like pragmatic, like, could be a good arrangement, to this actually really emotional and moving story, you know, where they both, like, end up taking this leap and doing this really brave thing. Like, I feel like, yeah, you do swoon seeing Anne Walker is able to kind of make Anne Lister really feel things.
Yeah, and then they sort of like fall into the tropes we all love, which is
blonde
the
and a brunette.
Blonde and brunette, and you have like
taller, smaller, slightly.
I feel like they're the same.
Kind of similar,
yeah, but you have the like soft and hard one.
Soft
you know,
and hard for sure.
So that's good. I just thought that the whole season, again, without like the weaknesses in the show are like the other plots. The Cole stuff can stay. I mean, that is the conflict.
Yeah,
the money.
and you can see how it's gonna like continue to create interesting drama for Anne, because you know a lot of it is that people underestimate her because she's a woman and they don't think she knows how to do business, and she kind of does it, but she learns very fast. Yeah. And I feel like that was fun drama. I didn't understand anything that was happening ever with the Cole, but like, you know, when she gets beat up, because of her coal dealings, I was so, you know, into the hurt comfort of that situation.
Yeah. Yeah, the business stuff can totally stay. It's more like we already mentioned the random people who live on her property. Like, that is not my interest. However, you know, stuff to do with her family, the immediate family in
really
Chibnall
Yeah.
is good. Like her sister, played by Gemma Whelan, Yara Greyjoy from Game of Thrones. So good.
Yeah. And like their relationship
Yeah.
is intriguing. I want more between Anne and Marian.
Yeah.
Like,
It is interesting also because they're the two surviving children. They had a lot of siblings who unfortunately died.
Which is part, I guess, of how sort of Anne has become
the heir,
the heir to Shipton, from her uncle.
Right,
so even that is, you see how many men in this family must have died so that Anne could be in this position of power. Wahahaha.
But it is really cute how whenever you do see the aunt and uncle, for the most part, it's always like they're always like eating crumpets or like some kind of little sandwich with jams. It's really cute. There's a lot of food-based acting, and then then you always get her sister doing like hilarious reaction shots.
Oh my god, you could definitely do an amazing supercut of all of Marian's reaction shots.
I'm sure someone has.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was making my Gentleman Jack vid, I definitely had specific, like, choices of, like, which one to use. This one where she rolls her eyes, this one where her eyes go all the way back in her head, and, like, she almost falls over her chair because she's rolling them so hard. But it is interesting, like, well, how come we get those perspectives suddenly when it's not, you know, it's not her diary?
Right.
Why is she looking at the camera?
Yeah. Those are intriguing moments.
I allow it.
You know, it's
cute.
a little bit, I mean, I guess House of Cards spoilers,
I know,
but you know, when
yeah.
other characters than Kevin Spacey start talking to the camera, you're like, well, what am I watching?
Yep, it's good.
A lot of critics compared Anne talking to the camera with Fleabag, which is kind of like, I guess, the most popular British show where the main character talks to the camera. People even like calling it like, this is Regency Fleabag. And
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
that doesn't seem quite fair.
We did not compare. We had our own
comparison.
comparison.
Real bad. Did original House of Cards from the UK do the talking to the camera?
Yes,
Okay.
it did.
Just want to make sure I get all the talking to the camera references.
Yeah.
Well, I remember when we watched it, we would say, oh, this is like serious Miranda.
Yes, right. Miranda also talks to the camera.
Yeah.
Love the show Miranda. If you guys are not aware of it, it is a good starring Miranda Hart, amazing comedic actress. And yeah, Fleabag, I feel like is not a show I'm particularly into. I haven't even seen the second season that people.
But that's the one.
I mean, she does talk to the camera. I have really unpopular opinions about Fleabag. I do not like it.
Yeah.
And I find Andrew Scott
Not
extremely
hot. He's
not hot.
priest. To
Not
you.
hot as
Not
a priest.
hot.
But
or anything.
is he better than Maxine
Peake?
Peake?
Problems
Ooh.
with people's faces. Oh no.
That's a hard one.
Maxine Peake or Andrew Scott?
Oh, that's a tough choice.
Beer.
I gotta go think about it.
I'm trying to think. Someone at the convention that I love, TGI Femslash, had an excellent observation about Marian talking to the camera, and I cannot remember it.
What could it be?
I don't know. If you are listening, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if you are.
Hit us up on social if you know what it is.
Well, I think part of it is that we as viewers really like sympathize with Marian. Like, you feel like Anne doesn't really understand like how awesome Marian is.
Right, and Marian herself has her own sort of like love issues.
Yeah.
And she also herself needs to get married.
And Anne is so dismissive.
Yeah, and she's also only focused on herself.
Right.
Which, I mean, granted, her situation is pretty tough.
Yeah.
So-
You can tell that a lot of her kind of, self like love and fascination is because like so many people have told her over the years that like she's not important, so it's like a result of all that she's like so self-obsessed. But yeah, I feel like Marian in those moments where she's like looking to us, it's like, yeah, we get you, Marian. We don't disagree.
Yeah.
It must be really hard to have this sister.
Right. I also really love the like housekeeper or the lady in the little bonnet.
Yes.
Who has the really...
Those are the plots you'd said you want to get rid of.
Well, I don't really like the French one in that plot, but she's just so nice because she was like really... She's like the main housekeeper.
Pig.
Yeah, I don't like the pig
murder
that
stuff.
Fucking stuff.
Okay.
Well, we've agreed that anything beyond the house,
beyond the house
really
is
doesn't
hard.
need to be there.
But like inside the house,
it's like iffy.
There's tiers of people I can't back.
Like Downton Abbey.
There is a guy from Downton Abbey in the downstairs of Shipping Hall as well.
Okay.
I don't care about his plot though. Sorry. But the little housekeeper lady is really sweet.
Oh, yeah.
I especially love when she speaks French because there's like such an accent.
Yeah, I
really
was
cute.
kind of into that to begin with, the French maid and the housekeeper, and just sort of seeing like the culture clash.
Yeah.
And that sort of goes back to Anne's character, where you kind of have the sophisticated, worldly person coming home to the small town, and just I feel like the show was good when it could really play with that. Yeah.
Yeah. And she had such a good reaction too when Anne was beat up, and the most dramatic episode, of course.
Her comfort
face was
so good. It was
Yeah.
so good. Yeah, I think that was my favorite episode too.
Yeah, I mean,
That was the same
drama
one where
stuff.
Anne wore pants.
I would have to.
Top 3 moment when Anne wears pants, the marriage ceremony, the scene where she gets beat up, and what comes after.
So you mentioned the episode where she's beat up, and every episode of the show ends with the same song. But it is interesting that in the middle of the season, specifically episodes 5 through 7, the song goes a cappella, sort of, in the beginning as the credits roll, because it's dramatic. Those are the dramatic episodes. And then it jumps back in the last episode to a fun, good time.
Jaunty.
Because it's nice.
I love that song. When I first heard it on the show, I assumed it actually was period, because I didn't know anything about Anne Lister. I assumed she sort of had like a folk kind of history attached to her.
Yeah.
So, when I found out that it was recorded in 2012 by these two awesome ladies, their names are Ohuli and Tito.
And they're from Yorkshire.
Yeah. And they're married.
Marrieds! Cute marrieds.
Yeah, cute marrieds who sing about Anne. I feel like the song is definitely up there in terms of like one of my favorite things about the show.
Oh, yeah.
It's very much inflected in the orchestration throughout. Like the score is really good, I thought, for the show. It also has a really awesome title sequence that reminds me of Xena. Because you have it's almost like a superhero suiting up scene.
Oh my God.
You see, Anne getting into her iconic Anne outfit.
Yeah.
I obviously.
It's true.
Very,
it is true.
very Xena.
And it has this amazing part of the costume, which I don't think she wears, really. But she puts on this, like, kind of big, like, ruby heart necklace. That sounds like really feminine, but it's not. Like the credits make it shine, and it's like she has so much love to give.
But
and
it's
like
kind of
part the
hidden
theme.
under all those layers of fabric.
Yeah. No, but it is such a great title sequence because all the pieces, and I love a introduction of a character via pieces of themselves.
Yes.
And so it is kind of like Xena putting on her suit.
Yeah. And with Anne, you feel it is very, it's armor in a way.
Yeah.
And you can't wait to see both her and Anne, like, strip out of the armor. I mean, I think it means, for Anne, it's armor. For Anne Walker, it's more like she's, like, hidden within it, kind of trapped inside it. Yeah, I feel like nobody looks as terrible in that period clothing as poor Anne Walker. Like, oh...
there are times where Anne Lister puts on like a dress.
Yes, well, that's like a big deal in
that
episode where she goes to the ball in the dress and kind of makes it work for her.
She does. It is really also amazing. She has a specific physicality as Anne Lister. She does this like intense like walk. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like a very purposeful, like, specific walk she does. And
swagger.
Yeah, it's like her swagger. Yeah. And there's a lot of shots of, like, the camera behind her doing it, so you could, like, supercut it all the time. And then when she's in the dress, she's still doing that, like, intense walk. It's really good. One of my favorite parts about the show is how well they did the, I guess, journey of the season. It is so perfectly plotted out in the sense that you meet Anne, you sort of get what's going on, and then by episode 8, I mean, there's conflicts along the way, obviously, and then by episode 8, it's like, technically speaking, a happy ending.
Yeah, after a lot of quite dark and serious, like, trouble.
Yeah, so in a way, like, when you look at just, that part, like, there was open-ended stuff about the pig stuff and whatever, blah, 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 blah.
Pig son.
But without that stuff, it is quite a perfect little contained season.
It is.
For Anne and Anne.
Yeah, and it feels really satisfying.
Yeah.
I feel like that you have this climax. Well, you kind of have two climaxes. The one where Anne returns from travels abroad, and, like, you have the, like, romantic reunion between the Annes, and like finally they understand how they feel about each other and are brave enough to declare it.
And it's so beautifully shot, really. The visual look of the show is gorgeous. It's very good for vids, guys. That's except for the outfits, but
well, the outfits in that one scene are great.
Yes, because her hair is down.
I love seeing Anne's hair down.
She should wear it like that
on the cliffs.
On the cliff with the kids.
Well, it's just great. Like, I think probably one of the best part of the show is just, that's a very period piece kind of tropey looking thing, but it's these two women. So
it really reminded me of Outlander, but ladies.
Well, that's something we haven't really talked about is, the high production values do kind of put you in mind of other, like, big BBC miniseries from, like, recent years. Probably the most famous is Pride and Prejudice, but there are plenty of others, which are, grand romances that kind of follow plots, sort of like this one, about, like, two lovers, are they going to find each other? Like, are they going to be forced into making marriages that they don't actually want? And, like, seeing that plot, like, with two women is so nice.
And it's really great how, specifically for Anne, they really did show her various other relationships. Like, they definitely had her biggest heartbreak, which is with her and the character played by Jodie May.
Jodie May, who I think we may have also
definitely talked
about from Tipping the Velvet.
Yep.
Great actress.
So she was her love, and thought that they would, settle down and be married together. And Jodie May was like, nope, here's a Scottish officer, and I'm kind of into him, and that's really what I'm going to be doing. So that's a heartbreak. Then she had her, what I call her fuck buddy. But that's an interesting thing, where that woman, Mariana Lawton, she's great. I love her. She appeared in multiple episodes. A really fun time. She seems to she got married to a dude too, but like she's that's not for love.
Yeah,
and she's totally cool with like hooking up with.
Having a piece on the side.
Yeah.
Except really her husband's a piece on the side.
But, like, that's not enough for Anne. So it's really interesting. Then she finds Anne Walker, and then that's like a whole thing of like, well, and of course, Anne Walker's realistically going through a lot of stuff. Not only, we previously mentioned, she's very vulnerable, her mental state, easily influenced by other outside sources.
Right. Including her family, who are very controlling because she has money, so they have to protect kind of their financial interests.
And unlike Anne's Aunt Anne, who's so sweet.
Many Annes.
Who's very sweet and very, like, support. And she she understands Anne, like, who Anne is, right? Anne Walker's aunt by marriage, played by Amelia Bullmore, who's a big biatch in this one, does not want that gay anywhere near Anne Walker. So there's, like, a lot of, antagonism there. And it really, like, it affects Anne's mental state. She has those, dreams.
Those nightmares are some of the scariest stuff in the show.
It's really powerful to see. But she, prevails, and we get that cliff scene, and episode 8 has this amazing, marriage ceremony for them. In reality, in 1834, exchanged rings and took the sacrament together. On Easter, I believe. But unfortunately, in the show, to symbolize that it's a real marriage, they had to, like, intercut it with Pig Son.
Right. That was a little frustrating. I was like, can't we just enjoy this nice scene?
Pig Son and coal miner daughter.
But I guess it was meant to show, like, one of these marriages is, like, recognized under the law and actually clearly is going to be a disaster. And here's this other one that kind of has to, like ease in through the back door, but we understand that it's real and has a good future.
It's so sweet, and it's one of my favorite Anne looking at the camera moments when she's leading Anne Walker into the church, and she just, like, literally beams at the camera. She's so happy. Yeah. It is so sweet. It is such a great, like, pin to the season. And I mean, if they never got another season, then that's it. But good thing there's, like, so much more in those diaries.
Yeah, though admittedly, I think there's gonna, like, from what little historical spoilers I know, there will be drama. Yeah. It's not, like, exactly a peaceful marriage.
All right. Well, then only watch the first season if you want a nice story. Turn the tape off after that. So, wow, Gentleman Jack.
The fandom seems really fun. I can't claim to have really like waded in too deep with it, but they seem like they're having a great time.
Are you talking about specific memes that occurred after one thermometer situation?
I may be referring to the very big thermometer.
There's nothing wrong with carrying around a giant thermometer with you in case you need to take the temperature.
Oh, the best.
It's so good. I guess we're kind of done talking about the show, but I didn't want to leave the episode without pimping Saran Jones a little bit.
Yes, who is wonderful, and I feel like she's one of these actresses where, like we've been following her for a bunch of years. We know she's great, but, like, she hasn't really gotten that, like, star-making role. And I think this like, Gentleman Jack is that for her.
Sure, yeah.
Oh, plus because it's on HBO.
It is.
Not to be like, just like on, like, BBC stuff, but, like, it is a big production. It is on, like, HBO.
Yes.
I know, like, the universe is changing around. People watch stuff and, like, things are on Netflix and whatever. But like, I just think the fact that, like, HBO wanted to throw money at this is amazing. It's awesome. Yeah. Like, you couldn't have told. I don't think you. I know you said that there is one from 10 years ago, but I feel like the world is such that people are more interested now.
Right, because of Downton Abbey.
Like this. I don't know. No,
well,
like, it just started in this story and, like, telling it this way. I don't think you could have told it this way 10 years ago or 20 years, whenever. So yeah, I think it is, like, star making in that capacity because it is so big.
Yeah, and if you are, into Saran now that you've seen Gentleman Jack and you're, like, just met her and you want to do that IMDb experience, lots to see. I mean, she does have, Kay mentioned Netflix is pretty good with British stuff, so it does have a show called Dr. Foster, where not only is she in it, but also if you love Killing Eve, and you're like, ooh, Jodie Comer, she's in it too.
Yay.
Yeah. We already mentioned Scott and Bailey, but the best one, a very niche, different role, let's say, A Touch of Cloth,
So good.
which you can watch on Amazon Prime. Saran plays
Yes?
D.I.
Old man.
an old man. And John Hannah is there as DCI Jack Cloth. And
So
she
fucking
also has a
good.
drinking problem in this one.
It's a cop parody.
Yeah, it's a cop parody. It is
fucking hysterical.
hilarious. It
It's
is
by
so funny.
the guy who also does Black Mirror, confusingly.
Oh, right. Because he has two sides.
Yeah.
The
Well, he
comedy
loves,
side.
he's big into kind of parodying forms. So
Yeah.
Touch of Cloth is a parody of a cop show.
So
Yeah,
funny,
it
so
is
funny.
so funny. And honestly,
And
like,
old man.
she's hilarious. A lot of physical comedy. A lot
Oh
of
my
just-
god! And you see Zarat, like she can be really like serious,
Yeah.
which is great. But then she can kind of like on a dime turn and become completely ridiculous. And yeah, that skill set is used very
Yeah.
well in Touch of Cloth.
I think the later season, I think there's like 3 seasons, something like that.
Yes, I
Karen
think so.
Gillan is in it.
Yeah, in the third season.
Yeah.
yeah, a really crazy
Yeah.
part
Saran was also in Doctor Who, obviously, is like a guest star.
as the doctor's
Yeah, but-
wife, who is the TARDIS. It's been
Oh,
a while.
right, yeah,
the
something like
Neil
that.
Gaiman episode.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
But also there was the actual Doctor from Doctor Who on Gentleman Jack as the fifth
Peter
Doctor.
Davison. That's
Yeah.
right.
There you
yeah,
go.
he's there too.
Yep, the 10th Doctor's father-in-law.
You can always count on, if you're watching some kind of UK
Yep.
TV property, there will be a Doctor Who connection.
Absolutely. It's like how if you see a show like filmed in Vancouver or something, you can always spot like all the Canadian
All the
actors
Canadian actors.
that you know and love from all the other things. I think that wraps it up. So watch all these crazy recommendations.
But mostly Touch of Cloth.
yeah,
Oh my
definitely
God.
We
start
really want people to
with start with
see
that.
Touch of
It's
Cloth.
so
Gentleman Jack.
good.
You watch Gentleman Jack.
Yeah.
Although we spoiled it if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, oh my God, check it out. My goodness, it's so good.
Good.
Yeah, thank
Very
you.
excited for season 2.
I know, I am,
Yeah.
yeah. And also, like, Saran's so sweet on
happen.
Instagram, and just, it's, it's just really nice getting, like, the little
Couldn't
top
that happen
hats.
to a
Gotta
nicer
start.
lady?
Yeah, she's really
Yeah.
into all the
Filming
fandom.
again.
It's really nice, and sweet.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, patrons.
Thank you, patrons.
And you can follow us on all the stuff and things.
warriorpodcast.com is the website. We're on Apple Podcasts. You can subscribe, rate, leave reviews. You can also listen to it wherever you want. And Twitter at Xena Warrior Pod. And Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, Xena Warrior Podcast.
The power.
The passion.
The podcast.